Just looking at what you're trying to do with the guys in August, how much, if at all, does that differ to what you were trying to do in the spring?
It doesn't differ a whole lot. Sense of urgency picks up because you get closer to the ultimate goal of what we want to do and what we want to play for. But the intensity that we have in spring better match the intensity we have in fall camp, just like it matches the intensity we have in the workouts through the summertime and everything that we do in this program. Our whole mentality is to live in the now and win the now. And in order to do that, you have to have that intensity every day. That every day is a game day. So that's how we approach it.
And then, how has Seth continued to come along with the relationship with his receivers and that chemistry?
You know what? Every single day helps. Every single day is good. Every single day is a learning experience. We talked about this before. You're going to make mistakes and you're going to get better the next day, and that's been improving. The way we look at it and the way you have to look at it is not practice one in fall camp, especially now. It's the summertime, you're allowed to get together with them, new NCAA rule, but it's practice 16 coming off of spring. So you kept it together and you continue to improve on a daily basis and get with those guys in different situations that may arise and may occur, and it's coming along.
I know it's two practices. Most noticeable difference to you and Seth at this point?
You know what? His leadership is really stepping up. And I think that's natural as a freshman who comes in and was thrown in to the situation he was in and did very well. But, when you play a freshman, I've had experience in my past of coaching freshmen who've played immediately. You kind of tell them, yeah, you're a quarterback, yeah, you're a leader, but you better take care of yourself. Once you have that experience under your belt, you no longer have a class. He's no longer a young quarterback. He's not a sophomore. He's not a second-year player. He's a guy who's played football at the Division I level. So that confidence alone has allowed him to be more of a verbal leader and be able to grab some of the guys and talk to them, tell them where they're going, what they're doing, how they're doing it. And I think that's been the biggest step that since I've met him as to his development.
Is Brady White helping in that area at all?
Brady does a good job for us. He knows terminology. He's played a lot of football and knows football very well. Brady does a lot of work with the wide receivers and allows the receivers to see it from the perspective of a quarterback and helps receivers see it from the perspective of a quarterback. A wise man once told me you can't have enough ex-quarterbacks in your program or on your team. So when you can have a quarterback in that wide receiver room talking to them on how a quarterback sees it, that makes a huge difference.
Who was that? Care to say who that wise man was that told you that?
It was Bill Polian.
When you've got older guys who are new to the program but have seen a lot of football, like a Joseph Skates, as he's learning to get acclimated with this program, how has his knowledge kind of helped some of those other guys?
You know what? He does a good job. He brings a dynamic to us to that room that helps us out. It's a speed dynamic. It's a big body receiver dynamic. And he's a little bit of an older guy, so that helps out as well with the experience. Now, Joe has some things he has to work on, like the rest of us, to continue getting better and play at the maximum level that he can bring.
How has the energy been? Just offense, defense, guys being able to come at it and kind of sharpen each other's knives a little bit on both sides of the ball?
You know what? I've been a couple places. And sometimes that offense-defense thing can be a problem, In some programs I've been, you've had issues with how do we compete and still know that we're on the same team. I think that's one thing that, I'm happy with and very pleased with a lot of things in this program. But that's one thing I think Coach Silverfield does an outstanding job of and has gotten these guys to compete at a maximum high level while still understanding that we're all in it for the same purpose. So there isn't, boys will be boys sometimes, but there isn't a whole lot of bickering back and forth, offense, defense. The defense picks up the offense picks up the defense. Coach Barnes picks me up and vice versa, and we go back and forth at each other, and we compete, but we compete with the understanding that we got one goal on September 3rd, and that's to win the football game.
So for the most part, the competition's healthy.
It's battling, yeah, man. There's some serious battling going on out there, but it's healthy. They're in the locker room hugging it up right now, I can promise you that. But it's a healthy competition, and people are going at it.
What's your impression of the run game so far with however many weeks it is now until?
We're good. The O-line's playing physical up front, getting some stuff going. Our running backs, there's a great battle in that running back room. There's 4, 5, 6 guys in there that might be able to be our guy now. Practice 3, we'll figure it out when it all gets closer to it. But there's some competing going on. There's some battling going on. They're running hard, pleased with what's going on. They're understanding the scheme as to what we're putting in there and the different ways of how we're going to go about making that successful.
Have you seen a need to tweak anything? Anything specific?
Yeah, a little bit. we're working as a staff to get it all right. That's what we're doing.
So when you're managing something like you have so many running backs, is it the similar approach to when you're dealing with a quarterback battle, or each kind of position scenario is kind of different, or do you approach it the same?
No, everything's a battle. Everything in life's an evaluation from day one that you meet them. How they handle summer workouts, to how they go to class, to how they treat other people, to how they perform on the field, to how they perform in the weight room, to how much time they spend watching film. All that type of stuff becomes a competition, and that counts in the quarterback room, receiver room, tight end room, O-line room. I told them night one before camp started on the report date that we don't have any starters on this program. We'll find out who the starters are over the next 15, 16 practices, and we'll go with those guys. And that's kind of been the mentality of the offense, how we do it, and those guys have been battling and competing in every room.
So the evaluation per position is all the same.
Yes, everything's an evaluation, but what you do on the field when you get given that opportunity will determine if you get another opportunity at that or not.
Have any of the young guys stood out to you on the offense?
Yeah, you know what? There's good skill set. It's early, so when you say young guys, it helped that nowadays incoming freshmen have they get here mid-year. So like a Tevin Carter was here for spring ball, so you forget that he's a first-year kid. But to me, you can see a skill set on them, and part of the evaluation is how quickly can those guys pick it up. It's one thing to sit in the classroom and answer a question. It's one thing to go out on a walk-through field and jog through something. And it's another thing when people are screaming and yelling and defense is barreling down on you and a certain blitz is showing up. Can you take it from the meeting room to the field? So I see a lot of skill set positives from the young guys here. Too early to tell if they can process it in a game-type situation. We'll find that out over the next 2 weeks or so.
Who's the best running back you worked with in your career?
That's a good question. You're going to put me on the spot. I'm going to get a lot of phone calls from all the running backs I coach who are going to be real mad. There was a kid in Nevada, James Butler, who still floats around the league and still floats around some of the new league over there, who was very good that we coached there. And then there's a kid, Chad Cackert, who played a lot of ball up in Canada at the University of New Hampshire. Played good ball with. But every running back I coached was a pleasure to coach. I love them all, and I take them all, man. How about that for an answer?
That's good.
All right, man.
Something common you can draw from those guys when you're looking at this group and saying, this is what needs to be done.
I like this group a whole lot. The running back that we need, the running backs that we need to get to the top of that room are in that room. There's nobody else I'd rather have besides those guys. They're pushing each other. They're going to work with each other. They're going to compete against each other. And the running backs that get to the top and that play for us when the season rolls around is in that room. They just got to show it on the field.